demonstration, a showcase, and it's just a small use case where we will provide a process follow-up of a response after alarm. So this use case is actually very interesting because different stakeholders in that process will be connected. There will be a location where an elevator gets stuck, and there are maintenance people connected to that elevator to provide some services. There are clients who need to follow up what's going on. There are security companies who are the first response team, and these parts we're going to show on the different screens. So what I'm going to do now is talk you through this small graphic, the information flow that's going on in the demonstration, and then I will browse from the left to the right, continuously switching to the different roles that are active in this demonstration. So if you take a look at this screenshot, we start on the left top, where in a specific location in the system, registered in our business web, is triggering a specific alarm. This alarm is being fetched by a control room or a dispatching center that has connection to that location through the people who are connected, for example. And when this alarm is interpreted and we create a response from that, we can send this over the business web towards a security guard that is continuously connected using the smartphone, which is always streaming its user interface over here. So you can do a live follow-up. Now, when the intervention guard receives this information, thanks to the business web, he will always have the right coordinates of the location, because actually the client or the facility manager of that location has the possibilities in this business web to update all the coordinates, all the information, all the maintenance information even, and so on. Now, when this guard arrives on site and he wants to perform his activities to rescue the people from the elevator, he will need access, and this access can be provided remotely and online and secure. And afterwards, we are going to talk about the fact that the client will be able to do a follow-up, that there is reporting, and so on. So, this first user interface I was discussing is the user interface of the intervention guard. It's a smartphone user interface. Here on the right-hand side, we see a visualization within the bWeb use case of Ceres Security, where a client, a real estate manager, has his or her locations which he can manage, and the possibility for creation of an alarm is implemented in his modules, because there are a lot of different features and facilities that are accessible within this system. And here on the left-hand side, on the large screen, there is a visualization of the dispatching center, which will capture the alarm and will correspond correctly with the information, and he will send or throughput the information towards the guard so he can start driving and handling everything that needs to be done. So we're going to start by creating an alarm, and it's going to be in a site in Antwerp. So imagine that his facility manager has different sites in the system, which are registered in the system. And what you can immediately see is that there are some coordinates visualized and also some access information. Because we are not always aware, as a security company, for example, we are not always aware on how to access and how to use the keys and so on. So the client can provide this, or in this case, the facility manager can provide this information. Now, when he says that there is a technical alarm, for example, he can comment as a remark that there is a woman stuck in the elevator, for example. Let's talk about the situation. So, elevator stuck. Difficult to write. Well, he can give a type to the intervention and the priority as well, which is not really necessary, and then he can create an alarm. This alarm is now registered into the system, and you will see that there is one open intervention alarm. Now, after a small refresh on the left side, you will see that the dispatching center has automatically received this alarm, together with all the coordinates which are actually the assets of that alarm. So if you take a look here, you see that it's a technical alarm of a certain type, on a certain address, and it's about an elevator. As he can see, there are a few intervention guards or security guards which are mobile and en route. They are always connected to the system, as I was talking about, and you can see them, for example, also live in the online visualization when we take a look at the geographical environment, for example. Voilà. There you can see the different green cars. They are now, as we speak, en route. This is a live visualization, and when the dispatching center wants to localize the people, he can do this very easily by means of the geolocation. Now, when this dispatching person is trying to create an intervention of this one, he's going to ticket this alarm, and from that moment on, you will see that the intervention or the response after alarm will be available for the client to perform a live follow-up. And you can see here below the mouse cursor that there are a few timings from a T0 to a T7. These are different timings in the process and the activity that can be followed up throughout the system online. That's part of the live follow-up and feedback. Now, this response after an alarm needs to be dispatched to a specific guard. So we're going to take the guard that's online, so we can perform a demonstration here, of course. And now we will click on the request button. Voila. Voila, he will perform a request, and from that time on, it's just a matter of seconds that this alarm will arrive here. Well, we say that we continuously connect mobile, but actually we synchronize each minute just to have no battery issues, because using a 3G connection continuously will drain your battery in like 4 or 5 hours already. So within a minute, this alarm will arrive on site, and in the meantime, you can see here that another timestamp, the time that the guard has been requested for a response, has received this alarm. Now, the smartphone is ringing and saying that there is one request, as you can see on top. And now we will click on the interventions button on the left low side, yeah, and then on the request top tabular page here on the bottom. And there you can immediately see a few details on the information that the facility manager has provided him with. So when he clicks on the details button, he can now see more information together with, for example, support on GPS, because we know where he is and we know where the location is. We can calculate the amount of time that will be necessary for him to arrive on site. Now, when he accepts this intervention, we will see in this visualization and in that visualization that a new timestamp has been marked. This will arrive within a minute again, as I was talking to you about. Now, when we re-enter to the details, we can see all the coordinates of that location. But what is also interesting is that he can see a history of that location. When he clicks on the MISI, for example, he can now see that there was an alarm hardware maintenance done by another company which has connected to this business web, and that maintenance was performed the 15th of March. So sometimes when this information can be relevant, for example, if the elevator has been repaired already 5 times this month, it should ring a bell somewhere and say that, oh, maybe they should do something to prevent the elevator getting stuck in the future. Now we can return to the details, and as you can already see here, the intervention has progressed to the following state. Now, when the intervention is opened, the dispatching center can continuously view all coordinates and also the alarm information on how to access the site, because every site has a badge or a key or an access code. So they can continuously support the guard en route. As you can also see here, the intervention has been accepted by the guard, and that means that the client is sure that his problem will be solved, that the service will be delivered. Now, the next step is when he says, okay, I'm going to drive towards the location. And at that time, the system will boot the GPS again, just to support him and to also provide feedback towards the dispatching on where he is and how he is progressing. Now, after a while, he will arrive on site, and at that time, he can connect his hardware key, which he has right now, a key like this, and it will be connected to a Bluetooth cradle, and it will automatically charge with a specific code for that location, and that code will only be active for half an hour. So it means that he can enter, and at that time he can perform his activities, he can exit the building, and at that time the key is automatically disabled for that location. Now, what he needs to do during the response after alarm is provided in the instructions connected to that alarm. For example, if he clicks on that button, he will see that there are different activities that he will need to perform to make sure that everything is done the way it should be. That's an instruction, a procedure that needs to be followed. The dispatching center can do a follow-up on these instructions as well, on live. The client can continuously follow up on where the situation, what is the current situation of that response, for example. Now, if we check the first two ones as done, we can progress to the second page, for example, and then we can write a remark for the first one, for example. Well, if we type here incident, for example, and then you can say, thank you, incident, okay, he can save this, and he can click ready. He can actually provide the fact that he found an incident, he encountered an incident on site. He can document this by taking pictures, by making a movie even. So when he returns to the details on the bottom, and he clicks again on interventies, and then he goes to the home page of the system, Startpagina, he can click on the incident button, and he can now describe, for example, kabel los. There's a cable loose. Yeah, it's auto-completion feature. Okay, cable is loose. And he can link this to an intervention, and it's actually that intervention which he is doing right now, that response that he's doing right now. He can provide a type, for example, technical issue, technical problem, voila, okay. And then he can provide a safety measure, yeah, on how severe is this incident. He can go to the next page and make a picture, for example. He can click on the photo button, yeah. And then he can try to make a picture of this room. I don't know if you can see yourself in the room. That's pretty dark, of course. Voila, when he takes a picture and he clicks on the return button, voila, he automatically returns to our application, our business web technology, and then at that time he can send this picture towards the online system so that even the client can later on use this information for security reasons, offers for insurance reasons, and so on. Okay, when he returns to the interventions, he can now finish the intervention by clicking on the details and the instructions. Continue to the next page and finish all the instructions. Okay, now we can sign the intervention in the name of the client. Maybe a client has arrived at the end of the alarm and has to close up or something like that. He can save this, and at that time the guard can also sign the intervention just to make sure that he is okay with everything that happens. So he saves this, and he returns to the details, and at that time he can end the intervention. Well, now the last thing that he needs to do is to mark how many kilometers he has driven from and going, return and going, so he clicks on the details, and then he can mark at the depot, at the zonal depot, his local office, and then he saves that information, for example. And at that time, everybody is informed on the whole of the response after the alarm. So it means that in a few seconds, the alarm will finish and it will be invisible in the live view, but when we refresh the search, it will be available in the bottom. And on the left side, you can see that the guard has performed all the actions that he needed to do during the response. So the guard is actually standby now. He's available for a new task to do, and in a few seconds everything will finish on the left and the right hand side. That's because of the 1 minute delay that is possible. Voila. On the left hand side the intervention has finished, and also here you can see that everything is done. So we need to click on search here. And at that time, just on search, yes. At At that time, the response that we described during this demonstration is available on the top, yes, and when he clicks on the report, you will see a full reporting that is available for the client, for example, together with all the digital information like the signatures and also the incident that can be opened right away from there. That's a technical incident together with the picture that my colleague has made a minute ago. So that's actually the whole flow on a response after alarm. I will now hand over to Steven to discuss a little bit the conclusion of this technology.
Thank you, Frederick, for this explanation. What you've just seen is really only a fraction of the possibility that this model can bring you in efficiency, because we have shown you one of our workflows within our fast response team, but there are other workflows between you and your stakeholders that can also be managed through the BWeb technology. Complaint management, demands from tenants and others can also be managed if it is digitalizing, if we can digitalize the workflow. The model can take work out of your hands so that you can focus on your core process and limit your time to control and check for those workflows where your partners are responsible for. Communication within business environment can improve using BWeb technology, I've said before. Communication, not necessarily oral communication, as you have seen in the showcase that Frederick has put forward to you. The logical step, of course, is that you integrate your clients and your stakeholders in your service process. The platform will generate new relationships, will generate new ways of working together. It generates more understanding of each other's core process. And there is no better way to understand the challenges that each of us have by understanding the core processes that we all have to manage. We will all get different insights also in our core processes, and they can lead to better solutions, better services, more efficiency, and better cost control. Because of all these advantages, we believe that this form of hostmanship partnership will create a higher value for all. It will start by being implemented there where innovation and change are challenged, but not are seen as a challenge. Companies like ING, Deleuze, Telenet, and others are already convinced and are working with us to generate this higher value. Nationally, over 90% of all the fire brigades in Belgium already work on this model, on this platform. This platform is not limited to only our business security. I've seen applications that can help in processes like safety, facility management, and others. Connected with your building management systems, you can really control real estate for 360 degrees. We've tried to be very practical. We've tried to show you the platform as a solution within security. We hope that the demo has shown that the BWeb environment can mean what it can mean to you and your stakeholders. We're free to answer any questions, or if you need more information about the application, we are all available if you would like to after finishing the showcase. I would like to thank IFMA and Artexis to allow us to bring this showcase to you today. And I would like to thank you all for being present, even if there's only a happy few. But I would like to thank you, and I wish you a very good continuation on the fair this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Dank u wel. Andere keer zelf maar aftellen. Dat ik wel signaal. Ja. Ja, bij mij zeker, want dat voelt niet. Dat was zo liefst met lijnen praat.
Necessarily oral communication, as you have seen in the showcase that Fredrik has put forward to you. The logical step, of course, is that you integrate your clients and your stakeholders in your service process. The platform will generate new relationships, will generate new ways of working together. It generates more understanding of each other's core process. And there is no better way to understand the challenges that each of us have by understanding the core processes that we all have to manage. We will all get different insights also in our core processes, and they can lead to better solutions, better services, more efficiency, and better cost control. Because of all these advantages, we believe that this form of hostmanship partnership will create a higher value for all. It will start by being implemented there where innovation and change are challenged, but not are seen as a challenge. Companies like ING, Deleuze, Telenet, and others are already convinced and are working with us to generate this higher value. Nationally, over 90% of all the fire brigades in Belgium already work on this model, on this platform. This platform is not limited to only our business security. I've seen applications that can help in processes like safety, facility management, and others. Connected with your building management systems, you can really control real estate for 360 degrees. We've tried to be very practical. We've tried to show you the platform as a solution within security. We hope that the demo has shown that the BWeb environment can mean what it can mean to you and your stakeholders. We're free to answer any questions, or if you need more information about the application, we are all available if you would like to after finishing the showcase. I would like to thank IFMA and Artexis to allow us to bring this showcase to you today. And I would like to thank you all for being present, even if there's only the happy few. But I would like to thank you, and I wish you a very good continuation on the fair this afternoon. Thank you very much.